out what we saw on Sunday. Rick Spielman and Pete Prisco here checking in. And Rick, I'll start with you. Bailey Zappi, 2-0. I mean, nobody saw that coming. The third-string guy winning here. What does that mean for the Pats against the Browns?
Well, technically, I don't know if he's just a third-string guy. He's the guy that they drafted and developed. And to watch him Sunday, just the poise he's playing with, the decision-making and how quickly the ball's coming out of his hands. He's getting in rhythm with his offense. And you have to give some credit to Matt Patricia as well, and him as an offensive coordinator. But you can see how poised and patient he is, how accurate he is. He's not turning the ball over. He had the one fumble in the pocket when he got stripped. But this kid is going to be interesting. And if Mac Jones comes back and he struggles, what are they going to do? They go back to Bailey Zappi.
They're going to look at your winners here, of course, off of Bailey Zappi, who's one of those, but you start with the Steelers defense here.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense has been playing great, and they haven't. But this is why Mike Tomlin has not had a losing season in the NFL. Yesterday, they were out their top 4 DBs. This is the first time they've ever won a game since T.J. Watt's been on that roster. And I thought Tomlin did a great job. And then he goes with a rookie quarterback that has a concussion, that comes out, that goes back to a starter who he benched that started again. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, that was a huge win. And their defense yesterday, to make that 4th down stop or that 2-point conversion stop, was what won the game for him. And finally, my last winner of the day was Pete Prisco. And Pete, let me go ahead and kick it over to you, bud.
Right. Pete, what you got?
Well, look, when I look at the New York Giants, I am astounded. I'll be honest with you. I am absolutely astounded that they are where they are. And look at that game on Sunday. They were dominated in that game. They are a game by 200 yards. They found a way to win. They're 5-1. They're 4th in rushing. They're just doing things the old-fashioned way and finding a way to win games. The Buffalo Bills, and particularly the defense, we love their offense. It's great to watch Josh Allen rip it around. You know what the #1 scoring defense in the league is? It's the Buffalo Bills. And they went out and got Von Miller for the sole reason we saw in that game. 2 sacks late in the game. He influenced the quarterback. Mahomes threw a pick. That's why you have the Buffalo Bills atop the AFC right now. And then the Atlanta Falcons and Marcus Mariota. What a reclamation project he's been for the Falcons. When you look at Mariota and what he's doing on the ground, they are 3rd in the league in rush offense. He rushed for 1, scored, threw 2 others. And by the way, this is a good 49ers defense. I know they're down some guys. He completed his first 13 passes on Sunday. Incredible. Give Arthur Smith and the Atlanta Falcons a lot of credit for what they did on Sunday against the 49ers.
3 total touchdowns there for Marcus Mariota, and the Falcons looking like maybe they can be something this year. Rick, what about your losers? Maybe starting out in Lambeau, something we don't say too much with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. I know he had a sore thumb yesterday, and he talked at the press conference about simplifying the offense. Well, he's been in the offense for a while. I don't know how much more simpler it can get. But right now, he has no receivers to work with. And when Robert Tonyan is your leading receiver, who's Robert Tonyan? I mean, you know.
I like him. I haven't fantasy. Just say it, I understand it.
But you look at, you have Cobb, who had 1 catch, and then he got out with the ankle injury. You got Lazard, who was an average to below average starting receiver at best. And Dobbs was non-existent, and Watson was out with a hamstring again. I'll be curious to see, with the way they're struggling on offense, they have no identity right now, if they go out and make a big move to try to get a veteran receiver in.
That's what they kind of need. Looking at, of course, to see Jacoby Brissett, a lot of offense there. And then also the Panthers, you were about to say something?
Yeah, no, Jacoby Brissett. Note to self for the Cleveland Browns. Do not have him throw the ball 45 times. Big turnovers in the game. They are run-first oriented offense. And if you're going to have this guy who's a game manager at best, throw the ball 45 times a game, you're not going to have a chance to win at all. And finally, the Panthers organization. This may be the most dysfunctional organization in the league right now. And you fire your head coach this week. You have no quarterback. You're down to Eason, who was the 4th quarterback on the roster, and no one in the future right now. And then you look at what happened on the sideline with Robbie Anderson. And I don't know how much of a chance Steve Wilks really has with the mess he has to deal with right now. So if they're not at rock bottom, they're scraping their feet right at rock bottom.
If you go on Twitter, you can see it seems like there's a fire sale when it comes to Carolina and some of their stars, Christian McCaffrey, also maybe Robbie Anderson. What about you, Pete? What do you got for losers this week?
Well, the Arizona Cardinals, they gave extensions to the general manager, Steve Keim, to Cliff Kingsbury, the head coach, and to Kyler Murray, a monster extension. And they can't score points. They're 23rd in the league in scoring, 31st in yards per play. They're averaging 5.8 per pass attempt. You know where that ranks? Dead last. I thought Kingsbury was supposed to bring an explosive offense to the desert. He hasn't. They're struggling right now, and I'll tell you what, it wouldn't shock me, despite those extensions, if you see some changes. The 49ers, look, maybe that's one of those situations where you go on the road, you stay on the road. They went on the East Coast, stayed in West Virginia, went to Atlanta, and they weren't prepared. Falcons are tough to prepare for, and they just got ambushed. We'll call it a mulligan, but oh, by the way, here come the Chiefs this week, so get ready for them. And then the Ravens. How in the hell did you lose that game to the Giants? You outgained them by 200 yards. This play by Lamar Jackson is horrible. You can't make this play. Pick the ball up and throw it out of bounds. He throws it into the middle of the field. He's picked off. It's the Giants' first interception of the season, by the way. Sets him up in point-blank range for the game-winning touchdown. And then there's Kayvon Thibodeau knocking the ball free from Lamar Jackson. The Ravens have lost 3 games. In all 3 of the games, they've led by 10 or more points in the second half. They need fixing. They need fixing in the worst way right now. They're struggling. They're giving away games. They're too good to do that to the Giants. They dominated that game. They just self-inflicted wounds killed them.
Real quick, Pete, to piggyback off the Ravens there, you mentioned the blown leads. They have one against Miami and Buffalo there, and you talk about Lamar Jackson looking for that guaranteed contract. Does this seem a little alarming here, the way he's played in those losses for you, and talk about giving him that money?
Well, no, he hasn't played poorly. The defense in most of those games has been terrible in certain situations. Sunday, that was him. You can't make that play. You cannot make that play. By the way, the receivers, the only guy getting going is Duvernay and Mark Andrews. They need more help for him on the outside. They had some key drops. It's not Lamar Jackson. I mean, that was a bad throw into the middle of the field. But this is a combination of a bunch of things, including major mistakes in key situations. They were inside the Giants 44 times in the first half and got very little out of that. They had to be better at scoring points.
Yeah, Pete, I'm going to disagree with you here. I think it is a little bit of a Lamar Jackson problem because the last 2 weeks and when they have lost games, he has came up with critical interceptions late in the fourth quarter that cost them the game. And their defense, they're bending a little bit, but they can take the ball away. I mean, they've had a lot of turnovers that helped them win games the last couple of weeks. So I think Lamar has to play better if he's actually looking for one of those guaranteed contracts.
Or we'll see, they're 3-3 on the year.
Yeah, but Rick, what does he have? What does he have around him? I mean, let's be real. He's got Mark Andrews and what else? You know, Devin Duvernay is your number 1 wide receiver. I mean, Bateman's not there. I mean, think about that. They don't have anything right now. It's hard to throw the football when you don't have anybody around you.
Yeah, but he also, the one thing he does have is a shirt with a whale on it.
Yeah, you should. By the way, Vineyard Vines should sponsor me. I have so many shirts from Vineyard Vines. You wouldn't know what fashion is. You wouldn't know what fashion is.
Well, what did you call the shirt earlier?
Huh?
What'd you call the shirt?
Garanimals.
Garanimal shirt. No love, Pete. See what happens when you don't come in? See what happens when you don't come in person? Pete Prisco, Rick Spielman acting up.
Yeah, well, you know what? I abuse him every Sunday. Don't worry about it.
All right. As always, the fellas tapping in. Hey, don't forget, of course, more action later tonight. On Monday, you got Russ against Justin Herbert. Broncos in LA against the Chargers here. The under is 3-0 in primetime this season. Russ has been pretty good in primetime, but we remember that game not too long ago. Denver, by the way, this season, 15 points per game, 31st in the NFL. That is not going to cut it. But 2 teams in the AFC West trying to shake out something there in that conference later tonight.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.